Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Where is that? Hello, Risha. Hello. হ্যাঁ রিশা কেন শুনতে পাচ্ছে না?
Yep, I'm here.
হ্যাঁ রিশা, আমি বলছি যে
Good afternoon, Professor Bhudev. Uh, can you hear me? Professor Bhudev, can you hear me?
Yes, Srishi.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
All right.
I can hear you.
Um, Lovely, perfect. So, just a quick introduction. I am Shirshi. I am the business manager of VRAR Academia officially, but in reality, I am the disaster slash catastrophe manager. So whenever VRAR Academia seems to drown in stress and troubles and so on, that's when I step in to save their lives. So I will be not moderating, my bad, uh, emceeing, anchoring the session for a bit, and I would just like to run by you what I will be saying about you. So if you could tell me if there is anything else that you would like me to add or change, is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay. I will be saying that you are a senior member of IEEE USA and a fellow of the IETE India, um, founder president for the Center of Development, and director of Illumina Academy. I will also be talking about your work as a leader in architecting outcome driven innovation solutions, your 30 years of experience in various domains, and how you are recognized as an IoT specialist and ICT evangelist. I will also be touching upon slightly on the Muzaffarpur Smart City project, and yes, maybe a few of the awards you've received. Does that sound okay?
So you want me to add few words?
I'm asking you if you want, if this is all right, if you want me to
Yeah.
correct, change, or
No, no,
add anything.
that is this is perfectly fine.
Okay, sir. Thank you. And would you prefer if I refer to you as Dr. Bhudev Chakraborty or Mr. Bhudev Chakraborty?
You can just call me Bhudev.
All
Or
right.
Bhudev
I
Ka.
I shall do that. Thank you. And we will start as soon as I have a green signal from Professor Mukherjee.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you. Lovely chatting with you. Am I audible to everyone? Can I
Yes,
please check
Shreyasi,
that?
you're audible.
Perfect. Thank you. Hello and welcome to what I believe is the third day of VRDays, right? And I'm sure we've been having an absolutely wonderful time um, picking our heads over, well, the future and future technology. And today we will be starting with our keynote address by Mr. Bhudev Chakraborty, who will be talking to us about how we may apply the concepts of virtual or alternative reality, mixed reality, and so on in the designing and application of smart cities and smart living. We hear about smart cities and smart living a lot these days, but I'm not sure everyone understands exactly what it means and what it entails. But Bhudev sir, or like he asked me to refer to him, Bhudev Da, is here to help us through that process and also explain to us why it is so crucial for us to change from the rather unsustainable methods of um of the way we've been building our cities. And given precarious nature of our time today here on earth, the pandemic already says so much. We will be listening to Bhudevda, who is a senior member of IEEE USA and a fellow of IETE India. He's the founder president for the Center for Development of Excellence and a director of the Illumina Academy. Bhudevda is recognized as a leader in architecting outcome driven innovation solutions, build integrated ecosystems of processes, technologies, industries, and markets. He's proficient in bringing together uh, domain and solution experts effectively so that strategic innovation initiatives become productive. Strongly believes that innovation, process, re-engineering, and solution architecture are the three pillars for a successful enterprise. Bhudevda has more than 30 years of experience in various domains, including developing of innovative patient-centric healthcare solutions for USA, Asia Pacific, and Australian customers using emerging technologies. He's a pioneer in the development of the smart city initiatives in India and is recognized as an IoT specialist and ICT evangelist. At present, he is the CEO of the Muzaffarpur Smart City Limited. The ability to change and optimize business processes is the key to any organization to achieve competitiveness and growth. Bhudevda has developed a 7-step, easy-to-use framework for process reengineering, which is published in the form of a book, Effective Governance Through Business Process Reengineering. Please do take a look at the book. He has also published a book on the solution architecture as a co-author. He is a recipient of the prestigious M.N. Shah Memorial Award and the National Merit Scholarship. He has more than 25 technical publications in national and international conferences and journals, including in IEEE and IETE. Bhudevda is a renowned speaker and also visiting faculty in various prestigious institutes teaching a range of subjects. Some of his key topics are digital transformation, smart city technologies, process and technology innovation. Gurudevda, we are extremely fortunate to have you here today, and I would request you to please join me here front of, I mean, it's not a stage, but if you could please join us here. And Professor Mukherjee, who will be our moderator for the session. Um, I I don't think Professor Mukherjee requires an introduction, but just briefly, Professor Samir Mukherjee is one of the founder mentors of VRAR Academia. He has been involved in not only educating and empowering and bringing together various forms of emerging technology. He's also been a lifetime encourager and educator of young people to experiment with technology and find new ways of looking at the world and thereby finding solutions. Welcome, both of you, and I leave the floor to you now. Thank you.
Mr. Chakraborty, Mr. Chakraborty, can you please come to the near to your screen and start the talk?
Is it fine?
It's okay, you can start.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, fine.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, so good morning, everybody here. And first, I want to thank Professor Samir Mukherjee for introducing me to this particular seminar and giving me the opportunity to talk about use of AR VR XR in smart city component or smart city environment. How one thing, because I have to also see the screen, so it will be easy for me if I stand in the other side. Okay. Yes.
Sure, sir. However, you're comfortable.
And who is changing the screen?
I believe that's either Monish or Pratik.
So go
So
to
you
the
could.
first. Can you please go to the first one? Yes. Okay. A minute. Let me get comfortable. Yes, I'm comfortable. Fine. So again, good morning, everybody, and also thanks to Sreshi for introducing me, and that was very nice of you talking so many things about me, and it is my great pleasure to actually address you all and say few words on my activities or what are the activities I'm doing at present and also some of my past projects. Okay. So if we see about application of VR AR in smart city, let us first understand first what is smart city. Now, if you see the smart city ecosystem, the smart city ecosystem talks about three items. One is quality of life, another is optimal facilities, and efficient governance. What does that mean? See, when we are talking about smart city is possible only if we have smart people and enjoying smart living. So our focus should be on smart living so that people becomes happy and we will finally get we will achieve the components or we will achieve the outcome of a smart city. Positively, when we are going for the smart city, we will also have to think about competitiveness and also we have to think about the sustainability. Now, this is about the smart city concept. I just wanted to tell it in a very, very brief manner. If we go into the various components of smart city, there are too many things are there, but I'm just taking only those components which are related to our topic. Just before going to the components, we can see that the smart city is based on four pillars. And those four pillars are institutional infrastructure, physical infrastructure, social infrastructure, and economic infrastructure. So these are the four pillars on which our complete smart city is based on. Out of this, we will be covering only the physical infrastructure in this presentation. If you yeah. So if you see here that there are two items, one is this physical infrastructure and another one is the technology enablement. So these two components out of this complete figure actually is important for us for this particular today's presentation. Now coming to the components. So the components which we will be talking about is smart building, smart city plan, then smart transport, smart integration, then your smart education, and positively smart infrastructure. So these are the six components are very important for our today's topic, that is use of AR, VR, XR. Coming to first the city. Now we know that whenever we are developing a city and we want to make the city smart, we need to have a proper model of the city. Now, 3D model of the city is already available and it is going on for a long, long time. And 3D model, then the CAD model, and so many other things are available. Even some of the applications provide a facility of roaming through the model. But if we really can develop a proper AR VR applications, as we can see today in this conference, you can actually get the feeling of every item of this city plan. You can go to the park, you can see how the park is, you can feel the park, you can enjoy the park. You can go to the building, you can see how the buildings are there, whether you can enter it properly, whether you can exit properly, how much time it takes from the building to get a transport, all the things, how much difficult or easy it is to go from your home to your place of work or place of education. All these things you can have a personal feeling and you can actually justify and validate your city plan much better manner and much earlier than usually what we do, because usually what we do is that we create a POC and we validate it through the POC. And in our case, maybe the POC will be our AR/VR design. So that way, I think that AR/VR can have a huge opportunity in city modeling, and particularly if you want to make your city smart, then this design will be very, very important for you. Next, coming to the building or urban infrastructure. So if you go through the urban infrastructure, there are too many items are there in the urban infrastructure. Each item you can actually put it separately in your model, and you can even find out how they are interacting among themselves. So you can create some model where you can, check whether there is any contradictions between the infrastructure, whether one infrastructure objectives actually doesn't support the objective of another infrastructure. You can find all these things very easily through a ER/VR model, and you can actually go through them, and you can use it for benefit of the user. Now, who will be using this? So positively, the architect will be using it. Now, when the architect is using it, usually what happens is that the architect and his team or her team defines the architecture, defines the design, nearly finalize the design, and then it goes to the user, because we believe that user doesn't understand the architecture, and positively we don't. But if you can give a model where the user actually can roam through your architecture in a layman's manner and can actually give their views on the architecture, you can understand that that is a much better situation than what we are having today. So I feel that in future, urban infrastructure design will be done only through AR/VR MRNXR. And if you see, already number of countries have started working on it. And I was going through some of the documents where they are talking about this in their places, which actually I'm planning to utilize in my Muzaffarpur smart city. And I'm already talking to the municipal commissioner here, and I'm asking him that why don't you try to redesign the city? It is not a green city. It is just a, you know built and not built, overly built city. So we need to redesign. It is not just we design and give it to them. But again, you have already heard that one of my skill area is redesigning and process reengineering. So that way, I think it is a good combinations that we can utilize the process reengineering and redesign along with the modeling by AR, VR, XR, MR, and we can uh, create a better environment and better urban infrastructure facilities, which can be utilized by the citizen in a easier manner. So that is the second component which we are working for. Now coming to the third component, and that is the building. Now, if you talk about building positively, all the buildings, whatever is there are some facilities of redesigning them and reconstruct them, but most of the places we cannot reconstruct because the buildings are already there. And in those cases also, we can create a model of the building, whatever is existing, and we can find out what are the areas which needs improvement. So maybe we need not go through the complete building restructure or redesign. We can go for some particular areas, and we can find out ways through which we can actually do the redesign to get a better facilities or use the building in a better manner. So this is one area we are not working much at present, but we are also having a lot of new buildings. Like, for example, we are developing one integrated command control center, which will be the heart of the security of the city. So this building is becoming a new building. So we are actually designing it through the AR VR modeling. and we are trying to find it out how this building will look when it will be operational. So that building is one of the things. Then we are also developing some of the other buildings which will be used for as the common places for the people to gather and utilize. For example, a proper bus terminus or a proper shopping complex or mart, we call it shopping mart, or redesigning of the complete stadium. We have a beautiful stadium here, so we are trying to redesign the complete stadium and make it much modern or much smart than it is today. So that is about the building. Coming to the fourth component, and that is the transport. Now this is a very, very important component for all of us, and I'm sure that you already know that this use of IoT in transport has changed our life completely. I don't think any of us nowadays go to any new place without opening the Google Map on our either on the car itself or on our phone, and then only start our car. So that way, we are already very much using the transport, yeah, sorry, using the smart technologies in transport. The vehicles are all getting tracked through the GPS, and the exact position of the vehicles, exact position of the public transport is available on your phone. How much time it will take for that public transport, whatever you are looking for, how much time it will take to reach your place, and you can exactly see that, and you can see also that the transport is approaching. All these things are very much possible, but what is not possible at this point is that if there is a congestion, if there is some blockage on the road, the Google Map or the IoT, whatever we are having today, only tells you that there is a blockage, but it doesn't give you the clear picture of how you can avoid it or how you can manage your path through this blockage or through this congestion. And that is where I think the AR/VR ML can help us. I have not seen till today any applications which is doing that, but maybe I don't know it. Maybe it is already there some places, but I have not gone through it. But I think there's a huge opportunity to use it in this particular area. And if it is already being used some places, it would be my pleasure to know them, and it would be my pleasure to interact with the people who are involved there so that we can try to use the same concept in my Muzaffarpur smart city. Next topic is the education and training. See, you already have a number of sessions on this education and training, and I have already attended one day before. So, and Professor Samir Mukherjee is there, who is expert on that. So, I am a very, very small person to talk about this, but I just wanted to say that. Particularly for educational training, this tool can be amazing, and the students can really feel what they are learning, and what we all already know, that viewing and touching is more important than reading and listening. And so they can touch and view, so they can remember it well, and it will, the training or education what we are imparting to them will be much, much better and much, much useful through this. I'm not going much into it. And finally, which is the most important part, and I will take some time to explain it, and that is the integration, smart integration. See, if we see today, the technologies, emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, whether IoT, whether AR/VR, whether any other natural language processing, too many technologies are being used nowadays everywhere. If you see that each of them are working in silos, and very few places the data generated by one system gets transmitted to another system and being used efficiently. And this is one area really is troubling us a lot. I'm not talking about other countries, though I have worked in some of the South Asian countries and African countries, but I don't want to comment on that, but I can comment on my country, which is India. And here, if you see that huge amount of data are being generated every minute, and maybe approximately 7% is being used, and 93% are just getting wasted. It is, I will not say wasted, it is getting positively stored somewhere, but nobody's using them. For example, we have 170 CCTV cameras in our city. But what is happening with the data? Only when there is an incident, we go to the CCTV footage, we go to the back footage, we find out whatever is happening there. So you can imagine how many incidents happen and then how many percentage of those data are being used. Very, very minimum, maybe less than 1%. And another, drawback of this issue, or this way of using the CCTV camera is that the moment, the time we find out what happened, the culprit has gone some other places, and it becomes a big problem for us to actually find him or her. So that way, it is much better to do it in a proactive manner. And here, the AR, VR, and IoT can help us that we can, and also positively artificial intelligence, that we can provide the behavior pattern of the people at every camera point, CCTV camera points. And the moment the behavior pattern is different, the camera will automatically create an alert and start sending the footage from that point of time to another server, which is being monitored 24 by 7 physically by somebody. And the moment this type of alert is coming, there should be a provision that the police, the ambulances, if there is some medical situations or somebody is hurt, ambulances, and the other, like if there's a fire, the fire stations. So all these people are also automatically called or automatically informed about the incident through the CCTV camera. And once these people get this information, they have to reach the place, and there the AI can help them to actually reach the place in a proper manner. This is one of the area which really we need to do, and now you can understand how much integrations will be required. Integration required from the CCTV cameras to the central command system to the police to your healthcare systems to ambulances to your fire brigade to fire stations. And if there is a 911, we have actually 108 in India called emergency response systems, which is similar to 911 in USA, and to connect to that 911 system also. So it is a huge interconnected system which we are actually looking for. Do you think it is possible? Yes, it's very much possible. Do you think we can achieve? Yes, we can achieve. How fast? Yes, that is the question. How fast we can achieve. And that is possible only when all of you come together and we can create a forum, and where we will have various people of different field and different domains, where they are working on these data or on the systems or the emerging technologies, and we can integrate them together into a central places. And that central place is nothing but my integrated command control center. So every city now we are planning to develop integrated command control center, and that is the integration place. So all data can come there, and we can provide actually the complete analysis facilities there, and sending alerts, generating all the informations required by various departments. So that is the integration. So that is the end of my presentations, and I thought that I should not talk much because this area is very new, and positively, though I'm working in this field, but I'm more working in smart city and other emerging technologies along with AR and VR. So that way, I'm also not a very expert in this area to talk. I can I can see that there are so many people sitting there. So maybe it would be nice that if the participants or those who are present there also can talk on this topic a little more so that I can also learn something from you. Thank you very much.
Uh, thank you, Bhudevda. And it's seriously a kind of eye opener. Eye opener on smart city, eye opener for the emerging technology, eye opener for so many things, you know. Let's recap the entire thing once. That's my duty. So let me means complete my duty. He discussed about the smart city ecosystem. Okay, that's seriously a kind of a new word for me. I am also a little bit acquainted with the smart city, but smart city ecosystem is a kind of a new concept. And of course, if all the smart city can connect each other, then it will be easy for them to use the resources. So that is one of the very, very interesting point which Mr. Chakravarti, enlightened us. Now the second point, he giving a little bit of emphasis that different component of the model of smart city. You know what he already explained, the different components. I don't want to dare to talk on that. But the third point he discussed about this is the redesign of the city plan. Redesign of the city plan is a very interesting point. You know, basically in our country is uh, not absolutely, but partially developed by the British 200 years back. And to change a 200 years back concept and people ideas and the building constructions and all these things is pretty difficult. So redesign we are taking from the some other countries, maybe in Asian countries, maybe European countries and all this. We have to have a design department. People should, means the student should think what is the design, what should be the design for a smart city. So this is one of the very, very interesting point. I will, sorry, I will definitely try to implement in our university. Another very interesting point is that's also very new to me, urban infrastructure. But Mr. Chakraborty, here I want to argue a little. Why can't you think of the village also? We should think of the village because of 10% urban India and the 90% vis-a-vis, village. If we can't do that, it will be very difficult. It will not be as fully smart city. So if any designer like you, any pathfinder like you are thinking about the smart city design, that ecosystem is one of the marvelous things. Simultaneously, that infrastructure reconnections, you know, that all the road should connect outside of the main city. That is one of the very, very important part at this moment. Then another very interesting point you touch upon, that's the future design. Uh, thing is, everything is future design. All the things is future design. What we are doing today is future. Okay. Uh, but I want to add another adjective in this, that future and proven design. And if it is a proven design, I think it will be better. In the smart city activity throughout the globe, the major problem is the proven part of it, not the futuristic part of it. So that is another very, very important area you have enlightened us. And here, this particular point, I want to put a little bit of, as you asked for, that the smart transport and there is In Google cannot, diagnose these things that then what I should do. Yes, it's a clogged area, but what next? But I'm telling you, sir, there is so many country in the world beforehand, before at least 1 kilometer or 2 kilometer, they are giving you indication that on that particular road it is clogged due to some accident. So your better road is this and this and this, and you can go in this, then you have to spend extra this much of time. Or if you go by route 2, then you have to spend another 3 minutes of extra driving time and all this. That's simple a software glitch in the Google, but all these country people develop their own because of, they have to have the other alternative route map and all these things, and parallelly they have to run these two things together. Then only it is possible. And lastly, my own area, you discuss a little bit. I seriously expected much from your end because of you are a kind of a stalwart that the education and training. In fact, seriously, we are lagging in this. In other all the areas where you put your insight, it's still okay. But the education and training is seriously, we are we are seriously lagging. And if everybody are, you rightly said that we have to have a kind of a forum and all this, and we can discuss and come to a conclusion. So that is another very interesting point. But from an education industry, uh, I got this idea that we are seriously lagging behind a lot. We have to do something, that a kind of a concept is going on that education institute will give you a part of the education. And of course, you have to go to the industry to take care of the B part of the education. A plus B will be your complete education. But my assumption, my idea that future will be A and B will be amalgamated. Okay, maybe you will learn 50% of A and 50% of B, but still it will be a complete education. So I deeply believe that you will also put a little bit of influence in this. You are already in this. So many institution and all these things is connected with you. And the last point, what you said, that smart integration, I'm a small fry. I'm seriously very small guy in this. I don't want to discuss much about that smart integration, but I can add a small point. What you said that you got hundreds and hundreds CCTV, and it's a huge number of these things, datas, and how to take care of that data. That's a huge, big problem. Yes, it is a very big problem. But there is some company in the world, some company even in India also, that, like either 25 frame or 30 frame, or 50 frame. This is the total, topology of the uh, video photography of CCTV. Okay, so frame means per second. So if I have one picture of that second, so if entire part of 1 minute, if I got 60 picture, that is more than sufficient to diagnose it. And it there should be a kind of a codec can bring it out that particular point from which frame to which frame you want the actual picture. So that is also available in different countries, different camera companies and all this. Unfortunately, in our country, yes, it is not there. So it is seriously, Mr. Chakraborty, it's a very eye opener, very interesting discussions and all this. Uh, Whatever I discuss, if you want to tell me something, okay, you can proceed, Mr. Chakraborty. Or I'm also requesting the audience that if you have any question, he is a kind of, I told you that he's a stalwart for this smart city and the emerging technology. So if you want to ask something, okay, you can carry on. And I'm requesting Mr. Budev Chakraborty to give a little input of my, uh, how I listen your word. Okay, so you can give me a little bit of ideas and all this.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Mukherjee. Yeah, say if one point is, yeah, your points are very much, well taken. And yes, they are also some learning from for me also, that what you have talked about. So only one point I want to interact with you is that the you talked about the villages. So actually the requirement of villages and requirement of cities are different. So we have like smart city, there is a smart village concept, and smart village concept is having more like their livelihood. We are talking more about their livelihood. We are talking more about how to how to provide them a marketplace through which actually they can sell their produces and they can generate money, providing help to the people who are actually below poverty line, and also the people who are not skilled properly, and how to reskill them, how to generate income for them, how to generate a better living conditions for them. So the concepts are little bit different there. And so that way, yes, we are also working. It's not that we are not working, we are also working on them. You might have already heard that in some of the villages the security systems has been implemented already, and also the transport GPS based transport system also has been implemented in some of the villages. So we are working on that. But as if you are talking about AR VR XR MR, positively it will take some time to reach the villages. We are not ready for that at this point of time. Okay, so that is only my input to your comments. Any other question is there from anybody? I'm ready to answer.
I got another question that if you
Sure.
enlighten us a little bit about the implementation of AR/VR or the emerging technology or smart city technology for the architectural department and all this, what's your take in this? Means, what is your suggestion to implement in the university?
See, this is very simple. What we are planning is that we have all see our the initial positions. What we have to do is that we have to create the infrastructure ready. So when we are talking about the infrastructure, we are already redesigning a lot of roads, a lot of areas, the how the transport will move, movement of transport, all these things we are doing redesign. And as you mentioned clearly that all these places we can utilize AR/VR. Now, how to take it forward? For that, it is the government department, so we have to really go through the process and we have to explain them that this is required. We have to identify some areas, and we have to give them presentations and create a concept and take it forward. Again, I am saying you, if you want to say is it possible? Yes, it is very much possible. Only thing is that we have to do it in a proper manner, and it may take some time.
Thank you so very much. Again, I'm requesting audience that if they want to have something, some ideas, some insights from this stalwart, uh, Mr. Budev Chakraborty, you can. Uh, if anyone has any question to ask for Mr. Budev Chakraborty sir, can ask him about the related topic. Anyone? Is there any question for Budev sir from your end? hope there's no more questions left to ask. So the keynote speech over here comes to an end, and we'd like to thanks Budev sir for joining us over here in Level Virtual World and giving his precious time for his keynote speech. Thank you very much, Budev sir, for joining us.
Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir.
Pratik.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
sir. Thank you, sir. Uh,